Well, 4-6. They lose 3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks of no offense. We scored a touchdown. Doesn't make a lick of difference because we have to score more than one touchdown. Okay, and they go for two and they don't make it. And they don't even get field goals on top of that. So 6 points, whatever. Yeah. So it feels even worse than last week when we had more points but didn't score a touchdown. Okay, we score a touchdown, but who cares? Who cares? Because they lose 32-6 to the Buffalo Bills, who just manhandled us the entire night. It could have been way higher. The Bills could have had way more points, okay? Because that was just, it was awful to watch. More or less like every game this year. Every single game has been just brutal. Even the wins have just been... we have not completed a full game. We have not had a good game on offense all year. Even the wins we've had, they've struggled on offense. They've needed help from special teams. They've needed help from the defense. We have not had a single good offensive game all year. Okay, we could easily be a 2-win team, a 1-win team. This feels much like Adam Gase. Remember that year when we went 2-14, right, with Adam Gase? That offense is comparable to this offense. Okay? And I don't know what's worse. I really don't know. Because apparently they have talent, right? Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I guess Allen Lazard was supposed to be in number 2. Bust of a signing. Pretty much like every signing this offseason. But man, that you go back and look at that Adam Gase-led offense, and it was the people on that offense. Okay, you compare it to this offense, and it's just, there's no excuse. There is no excuse. They have enough talent. I don't care if they have no offensive line or injuries, whatever. Every other team is dealing with that. Okay? There are teams out there that have it worse than us, right? They're on their backup quarterback, right? They're down and out, and they're winning games. They're scoring points. More than one touchdown. So what's the deal? What is the deal? We cannot win a single game going forward like this. We cannot. If we play like this every game going forward, we will lose every single one. We will have a top 10 pick in next year's draft. And I don't even know if Saleh or Hackett or Douglas or any of the coaches, I don't know who gets canned and who doesn't. There very well could be a realistic possibility that everybody gets a pass for the year. They punt on this season because, Aaron Rodgers goes down the first couple plays of the year. They bring everyone back. Maybe we can have one good year with Rodgers, but then what? We're back to the starting board. And it's disgusting that Rodgers wants to come back next month. He's pulling in a miraculous, no one ever has done it, type of rehab where he wants to come back in about 3 months, 3.5 months. Like a miracle type rehab. And how do we respond to that? We lose 3 games straight, and offensively we look like the worst offense in the league, which we pretty much are now. When you got the Giants, who maybe a week ago was considered worse offensively, and they score and they win. You got not Danny DeVito, whatever, scoring 3 touchdowns, throwing through the air. Zach Wilson has never had a 3-touchdown game. Think about that. Never had a 3-touchdown game ever in the NFL. And this is his 3rd year. And we are in week 11. It's just inexcusable. Okay? And I don't care if Douglas gets fired. I don't care if Saleh gets fired. I have no sympathy. I really don't. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't wince. I wouldn't bat an eye. Because this ship is sinking, right? And they pretty much blow the holes in the ship. This is all self-inflicted. Okay, you can go back to Joe Douglas doubling down on Zach Wilson as number 2, even though he didn't prove it at all that he belonged to be a number 2 starting quarterback, let alone a starting quarterback in the league. A backup in the league. Okay? Don't give me that BS. If he was a 6th-round pick, he would be out of the league by now because his numbers are comparable, if not worse, to Jamarcus Russell, considered one of the biggest busts of all time. Guess what? Zach Wilson's name is right next to it. Okay, so he proves nothing. He has 2 terrible years in a row. Okay, he's seemingly going downhill. Okay, worse than his rookie season. At least his rookie season, he had a 4-game stretch where he was good. Decent. Whatever. Considered good to, because Jets fans' expectations are so low. Whatever. But yeah, you double down on him as your second backup quarterback, right? And then Aaron goes down. Oh my goodness. First game. What do? We double down on Zach again. And we expect change. We expect that he'll be better than he was last year when he was the worst quarterback in the league. Worse than backups. You expect him to be any better? Well, maybe he can be a little bit better, right? But a little bit better from the 36th best quarterback in the league going to like maybe the 32nd. You're still the worst quarterback in the league, or at least bottom 5, whatever. You expect that? Okay, and then he plays awful, and then you go out and you sign Trevor Siemian, who hasn't been activated. Well, I guess, what is he, trash too? And then you saw how Boyle played tonight. So they have nothing. They have no answers at quarterback. Okay, maybe Robert Zell was right when he said Zach gives us the best chance to win, because the other 2 quarterbacks are trash. I mean, Siemian can't even get on the active roster. He can't even leapfrog Boyle as a backup. And it's been weeks since we signed him. Okay, you should know the playbook enough by now, right? If you're any good, to be a backup to Zach. A backup to the worst quarterback in the league. So what does that say about him? So what do we do next Friday? Right? Short week. We got to prepare for the Dolphins, who just came off of a win. Okay? They beat the Raiders, who we lost to last week. What do you do? Salah said he doesn't know. Well, I don't know what to do. But I'm not making millions to decide that, so whatever. I mean, you could pay me millions to decide it. I just don't think Zach should play anymore. I feel like that should be his last game as a Jet. I am done. It should have been last year. Just all the crap that happened last year to saying no when asked if he was responsible for, letting the defense down. To the whole locker room revolting against him and wearing Mike White t-shirts, right? We don't even have that quarterback controversy anymore. I wish we had it, because Mike White is gone, and he's probably going to be put in next game when the Dolphins are up 40-3. He'll probably come in and brutally throw a touchdown on us, like he did earlier in the year against another team, but whatever. Just to add insult to injury. Whatever. Yeah, but I wish I had that quarterback controversy, because we had nothing at the quarterback position, and this is Joe Douglas's fault. Joe Douglas, you had one of the best draft classes in history, it seems. Okay, awesome. That is literally keeping you afloat. Okay, drafting Sauce, who had a terrible game today, I must say. Garrett, who fumbled, right? 2 fumbles the last 3 games, whatever. Breece Hall, who always gets touchdowns from Zach Wilson, because Zach will always dump it off. He will never stretch the field. Any touchdown that Zach gets has to be a Breece Hall dump off. That's it. He can't throw it down the field. He's too afraid. 3rd and 5, there was a slant that was open, and he just hesitated and took a sack. What are you doing? Why? And they pull him when it's too late. By the time it's already washed, by the time the game is over, then you pull him. That makes perfect logical sense. You couldn't pull him during the Patriots game when we had a chance. You couldn't pull him to Raiders game when we had a chance, but now you decide to pull him when it doesn't even matter anymore. And now you're just going to put Boyle in a terrible situation where the defense is going to tee off on him, and because they're hungry, they want to pad their stats. But what are we doing? And where was Izzy? Where was he? It's like he was put in the game by the time it was over. His first run was in the fourth quarter, and he runs it for 10 or 11 yards, which I don't know if I have to look, but that might be the longest run of the game, seemingly, because they did nothing on the ground game. Once again, can't get anything on the ground game. You know, you look back at the 2009 and 2010 seasons, they had one of the best rushing attacks in the history of the sport. And that's why we were in the playoffs and we made it to the championship. That offense compared to this crap is like, it's a different league. They're playing a different sport. I miss that so much. I miss 2015 when last time we had a decent air attack with Ryan Fitzpatrick of all quarterbacks. Career journeyman, gave us our best season offensively in the past, I don't know how many years. At least until the 2009 and 2010 and the 2010 seasons when we had a ground and pound type of formula. But we don't have anything. This offense has no identity. They're nothing. They are worse than nothing. It's like a college level offense trying to go against the big bad boys of the NFL. We have no rushing attack, right? Garrett Wilson fumbling the ball because he's probably trying to do too much because he's the only one who can create plays. Breece Hall through the air. That's pretty much it. Because the offensive line is so bad, it doesn't open up any holes for the running back to go through. And then you got a quarterback who holds the ball on too long, way too long every play, mixed with a bad offensive line, mixed in with a bad offensive coordinator that doesn't give him any help for anyone and calls just atrocious plays. And what do you mix that all together and what do you get? 0-11 on third down again. How bad are we going to be? Are we going to break records this year for being inept on third down? Is that what's going to happen? At least they scored in the red zone today. That might bump up the numbers a bit. But holy cow, 0-11. They couldn't get one third down. They got a few fourth down plays. Good on them. Takes them 4 downs just to get 10 yards. It is so bad every single week. And it's getting worse and worse. And now we're going to face the Dolphins, who have a high-flying offense. And they're just going to put us in our place. We're going to be 4-7. Season's going to be over. I just don't see any other game we're going to win unless Rodgers decides he wants to come back on a losing team. Maybe we can beat the Commanders, who just lost to the Giants. But you can't beat anyone if you only score 1 touchdown. They have 2 offensive touchdowns in the last 4 games. When is it going to be fun to watch football again? Because to have any sort of fun, I got to watch other teams play. I waste Sundays, you all waste Sundays, watching this horrible team play. It's like watching paint dry. It's worse than that. The offense is no fun. Okay, it's no fun for any other fans. Right? Non-Jets fans don't want to watch the Jets. Nobody wants to see the Jets in prime time because they have a good defense, right? They're going to hopefully keep this low scoring, and our offense is going to prove to be nothing. Have terrible third down outing, right? 0-11. Throw that out there. Right? And it's just going to be a boring game. It was boring today. And I wasn't even angry. I was just, I'm done. I'm literally, I don't care if Saleh gets fired. And I'm starting to lean more to not liking this coach. All right. I liked him because we have a top defense, right? And we have a horrible quarterback. And somehow we're still pulling out wins. Like we were 4-3 once upon a time. But this is just the collapse last year mixed in with now we're collapsing again. This is all coaching. It's a mix of coaching, terrible coaching on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, Don't tell me. I don't care how bad your roster is, how bad your offensive line is. You still, being an NFL team, you have to score more than 2 touchdowns in 4 games. That is bullcrap. Teams will score 14 points on their first 2 drives, let alone 4 games. 16 quarters. Put that in perspective. That is just nasty. I'm sick and tired of it. From Joe Douglas doubling down on the worst quarterback rating-wise, probably in NFL history, to a offensive line guru, quote-unquote, in which we had piss-poor offensive line play every year he's been in office. Every single year. Even with the injuries, I don't care. There's no excuses anymore. All right? You can't make excuses for this. You got the worst offense in the league year by year. Okay, hasn't had a winning record, and this won't be a winning record this year, okay? Even if Rodgers comes back and wins the last 3 games, I don't see them having a winning record. I really don't. I don't see them winning another game until something drastically changes, and that's not the Jets' motto. We don't make changes. Oh, no, the only changes we do is we cut Michael Carter and give the false hope that we're going to play Izzy, but he only gets 1 carry, and he starts later on in the 4th quarter by the time we're already out of it. All right, and then Hackett will, instead of being on the field, he will just walk up the stairs, up to the booth. Those are the big changes. All right, there you go. You happy, fans? That's it. That's your change. That's literally it. And then you expect anything different? This has been awful for the last 4 weeks. The Bills fired their offensive coordinator, and they were in top 10 in most statistical categories. They didn't settle. They fired. Bye, gone. We expect better. There's no accountability with this team. Okay, they're just going to coast and lose the locker room. And just an embarrassment of a game. From Zach tripping on air. Come on. Tripping on air. That's to Zach running into Robert Saleh, the coach. To the fumble on the first play. Like, how quickly can you say as a Jets fan the game is over? Because after that fumble, you can say it. Yep, I've seen this circus before. That's how the game is. That's your bad mojo right there. Fumble on the first play, it's over. Bye. You're done. That's what you can say. You can almost predict, right? Maybe we should bet on them. Win some money. But you got that. And then you got seemingly, it seems like Hackett was the one who pulled Zach out of the game. It was Hackett's call instead of the coach. What kind of backwards stuff is that when the offensive coordinator is the one to pull the quarterback? What is Robert doing? Is he just standing there chewing his gum? Just standing there?